Guys, quiet down and focus. So, applying trigonometric functions. We got some easy stuff. This is actually, in order to even make it harder, the only way I could make it harder is by adding minutes and seconds to the problems. And I didn't even add seconds to anything. I just did minutes. So this is fairly simple. You have to be very familiar with SOHCAHTOA. You have to be very familiar with SOHCAHTOA and how to set it up. So the sine of an angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. The cosine of an angle is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. The tangent of an angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. Never miss that of an angle. I'll get people where they'll see something really quick. Don't write this down. They'll see a triangle, right? And I've got, and here's my angle I'm talking about. And I'll say, what's the sine of theta? And you guys will say 4/5. But when you write it, you'll do this. Okay? No, the sine of the angle equals 4/5, not sine of 4/5. So I want you guys to be careful with that. So with that in mind, we're going to show how we can use it to solve. So we've got this triangle here. And it says, there are a few things I want to note that are important because my homework will not have visual aids with the exception of one problem. Okay? So something to note, whenever you're given without a reference, like without a visual reference on the triangle, when you're told a triangle, the opposite of an angle, so the angles are always the capital letters, and the opposite sides are always the lowercase version. Okay? So when you see side A, side B, side C, angle A, angle B, angle C, you should always be able to draw the triangle. And if we're talking about right triangles, angle C is always going to be the right angle, and lowercase c is always going to be the hypotenuse. So little a is always across from angle A. Little b is always across from uppercase B. Okay? Important to note. So, they go with each other. They go with each other. So with that in mind, you have to look at what's given and use your knowledge of SOHCAHTOA to build the appropriate equation and solve for a single variable. This is almost as easy as Algebra 1 solving for a single variable. It just looks different. Now, the most complicated thing I can do, I did here, and it's not even that complicated. It just adds a little bit more time, and I made sure not to bog your homework down with them. I think 1 or 2 I'm making you do this, but that's it. Okay? So if angle A equals 48 degrees, 12 minutes, first thing we need to do is convert that. We can't work with minutes and seconds in our calculators. So the first thing we should do is convert that. So I want you guys to convert that really quick using your skills from section 1. 48 degrees, 12 minutes, please convert it to just a decimal degree. Some of you who really are familiar, you should have that down pretty fast. Anthony? Manny? Whoops, sorry. A little off. Destiny, I'll hand it to you if you'd like. Good? Okay. I just said that because of the fact that you look panicked all the time. I'll put it somewhere. So I'm not happy with the amount of days you're taking off this year so far. Aiden? This will be your third. A little excessive. I know you're not. No, you're not. It's always you and Maddie, thick as thieves.
No, that's not the case.
No? She, well, it's just always funny. Well, then it just happens to be coincidence when she goes, Mr. Bates, I might not be here Friday. And then on the same day, I hear from you. And that's happened all 3 times.
But it's not because we're together. It's just like.
That's mighty coincidental. The probabilities in Mr. Bates' brain is going, Okay, were you ready, guys? So we should have all gotten 48.2. And we should, to be honest here, guys, 12 minutes is a fifth of an hour, and a fifth is 0.2. So hopefully we didn't put too much effort into our conversion. Okay. So, all right, and we're told side B is 15. So we want to solve the triangle. So the phrase solve the triangle means I want every angle written. I want every side length written. I want every angle and every side length. How many angles do I know already? 2. I know angle A is 48.2, and I know angle C is what? 90. And so I can easily get angle B. What is angle B? 41.8. Does anybody not know where Albert got that? Tylee? That's okay. You sure? I don't. Okay. How many? Yeah, how many degrees are in a triangle? 180. So if I subtract these numbers from 180, which one of them is always 90, so after I subtract 90 from 180, I have 90. So 90 minus 48.2 is 41.8. Okay? Now I have side B, but I don't know side C and side A. So now I have to use my trigonometry to find my missing sides. Pick one of the sides, A or B. A. All right. So here, follow the logic here, folks. It's really important to follow the logic. It's easy to set up. Okay, we're going to find A. If I know B, I know side B, and I want to find side A. Side B and A are what? Are either of those the hypotenuse? No. So which of my trig functions does not use hypotenuse? Tangent. So in order to find, so since I have to use what I know B. I want to find A. That means I'm using 2 sides, which means I have to use tangent. It does not matter which one. You can make your life easier. Whenever you can make the number in the denominator, your life is easier. You can't always do it. Whenever you make the number in the denominator, though, your life is easier. So which one do I know, B or A? B. So I know, so let's put 15 in the denominator. So here's how we're doing it. We use what we know. I know I'm going to use B. I want to find A. We are so far. And all of my SOHCAHTOAs are a fraction. Okay? So the tangent of what angle is A over 15? A would have to be the opposite. So it's going to be angle A. Okay. And then you're going to be done. So calculator work, because none of us here, myself included, can do the tangent of 48.2 degrees in their head. So make sure you are in degree mode, not radian mode. So it should say DEG at the top of your calculator. You push 48.2 and then the tangent button.
You said degree?
Uh-huh. Push 48.2, then the tangent button, then you're going to multiply that by 15. Go nearest tenth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you did it right, you should get 16.8. No. What? No, law of cosines is much more complicated. Victoria? Counter, on the counter. Okay. No, law of cosines and law of sines are much longer. Alrighty. Okay, so now we need to find what side? C. So we know B. Don't go with A because A's got rounding error. Don't go with A because A's got rounding error. B does not. So let's go ahead and find side C. So if we're using B and C, we can use either angle we want. If we have to find C, unfortunately C's in the denominator no matter what. I'm going to show you a quick algorithm. You can either trust me on or not trust me on, your call. So do you want to use angle A or angle B? So first of all, actually, let's go and we're going to put C over 15 equals, okay, C over 15. So, sorry, 15 over C. 15 over C, because C is the hypotenuse. My mistake. Now the question becomes sine or cosine. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It doesn't really matter. So people said, I think they said B. I don't know.
Yeah, B.
So if we want to use angle B, is 15 the opposite or is that the adjacent? It's the opposite. So we're going to do the sine of B. And B is 41.8. Questions, guys? Questions?
How do you know, like, what to put on top and what to knock off?
So I'm using either opposite over hypotenuse, adjacent over hypotenuse, or opposite over adjacent.
Oh, okay.
And since C is the hypotenuse, it can, out of those options, it's always on bottom.
Aren't you going to multiply by C and then divide by sine?
Right, so the quick algorithm, Jada.
How, you know how, like, where do you get B from?
Yeah. Where?
Yeah.
So the question becomes, I had 15 over C. So C is the hypotenuse, so 15 is either the opposite or the adjacent. I asked you guys what letter you wanted to use. You guys said B. That made 15 the opposite. You guys said B, so that made 15 the opposite. If you guys had said A, that would make this the adjacent, and I would use cosine instead. Okay? All right, so guys, when you got it in the denominator, this goes really easy. C is equal to, you just swap those. You're just going to swap these two things with each other. C is equal to 15 divided by the sine of 41.8. That's just cross multiplying and dividing. And don't forget to push the equal sign. So make sure you're still in degree mode. 15 divided by. Then we push the degree in first. 41.8 sine equals, we get 22.5. Okay? Questions? Yes, Aiden. How to get this? This. So I did, okay. So I said either believe me or not. If you don't believe me, then you can solve out for C on your own by multiplying both sides by C, then dividing both sides by sine of 41.8. Yeah. Cross multiplying and dividing. Yeah.
This is just a calculator question.
Okay.
I don't know, like when you type it in, it's like 15.
Oh, yeah, that means press.
Yeah.
No, that came up. Let's read more boxes. Those are the buttons. That means press the buttons.
Remember from algebra 2, that means press the button?
Sorry, everyone.
Oh, I forgot to hit the equal sign.
Mr.
Ah.
What is the conversion for that? Those are the buttons.
What was that? It's 12 divided by 60? What's Manny got? Hmm? Okay. So, apothums. 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 I don't know.
Sounds like a Shakespeare play.
I've heard it pronounced multiple ways, so we're going to go with apothum. Like you're saying a possum with a lisp. Okay. So, what was that? I think I saw a possum. Okay. We ready, you guys? So, I think people have said apothum. Apothum sounds good. Okay. The apothum of a regular polygon is a segment, and I've drawn one. Okay. The segment formed from the center of the polygon to the point perpendicular to any of its sides. It will always hit the midpoint. Example, given the apothum of a regular pentagon is 8, I'm just talented like that, you know? Huh? Okay. All right. Close enough? All right, so the apothum of a regular polygon is a segment formed from the center of the polygon to the point perpendicular to the side of the polygon. Okay? It hits the midpoint, just so you guys know. Given the apothum of a regular pentagon is 8, so the apothum is 8. The apothum is 8. Find the perimeter, oh, it should have said pentagon, of the pentagon, and the radius of the circle that would circumscribe it. Find the perimeter and the radius of the circle. So what I need in order to find the circle radius, I need that, right? That's be the radius. Okay? And in order to find the perimeter, I'm going to need that x right there. So this is my radius, and that's my x. Have I lost anybody? Yes. Well, you weren't working on your homework instead.
I wasn't. I was drawing.
Okay. Which part?
Just all of it.
Just all of it? Okay. So I've got a pentagon and circumscribed by a circle. Okay. The apothum, which goes from the center to an edge, okay, perpendicular always, is 8. Okay. And then I'm going to solve what is the radius of the circle and what is the perimeter of the pentagon.
So this line here is 8.
Yep.
So why is that little line the radius?
Because it goes from the center to the circle edge.
But couldn't the radius just be 8 if you're going from the center to? Oh, you mean like the vertex?
The radius of the circle. The vertex of the pentagon is also, every vertex is a radius of the circle. So why do you want me to change the wording?
So why can't 8 be the radius then?
Because it doesn't hit the edge of the circle.
Oh.
Okay? All right. Shh. Okay. Refocus. Refocus. Okay. Guys, we have the information we need. We have all of it. But we have to think about it. This is a pentagon. This is a pentagon. How many triangles would I draw inside the pentagon? 5. Let's go with 5. If I drew to the vertices.
A lot.
If I drew to the vertices, I would draw 5. Okay? Really quick. Okay? Here's just an extra one. 1, 2. Oop. Can't draw to a vertex for some reason. 3. Yeah, right. Thank you. Everybody okay? There are 5 triangles there? Okay. So, here's the thing. Okay. Guys, how many degrees are in a circle?
360.
So if I go 360 divided by 5,
5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40,
what, 60?
72. So each one of these degrees is 72.
Oh, whoa, that's kind of.
Which means this angle right here is 36. It's a half a triangle. Well, it's a half one of those major ones. I'll stop for a second. Go ahead. You could there's some work there, Destiny. Just to worry you. Well, you can draw. I just didn't want to draw the whole circle and everything again. So you can draw that within yours. You could draw that within yours.
Wait, Mr. Bates, what is that little number?
36, because it's half. Because that's been cut in half, right? So it's gonna be 36 and 36. Does that make sense, Sarah? Yes, but Crunchwrap Supremes are hexagons, not pentagons.
Mr. Bates, you know what I'm mad about? But doesn't it look so?
Yes.
Mr. Bates, you know what I'm mad about?
Huh.
I used to go to Taco Bell, but I used to get the Dorito ones, the tacos, the red ones, and they stopped selling them.
Did they?
Yes. Mr. Bates.
Whenever I go to Taco Bell, I make sure to buy the most fake-looking Mexican thing on the menu, because if I'm going to Taco Bell and ordering regular bean and cheese burritos or tacos, I'm a sellout. I will not do that. It's like I better buy something that is so completely non-Mexican because it's been Americanized so much. So yes, I will get the Doritos Los Nachos Tacos extravaganza because it's like that taco that I then get will never be found in Mexico because this is sacrilegious. So that's what I will order from Taco Bell. Because if I'm getting a burrito there, why am I not going to some hole-in-the-wall joint to get a better burrito?
Is that how you feel about like mango habanero beans? Like you have to get the mango habanero beans.
The ones at what do you call it? Gridiron aren't so great. But I'm telling you right now, their sweet chili, that's my, it's good. Okay. Guys, are we okay with the 36? Yeah? We okay with it? Okay. Guys, Sada. So 90 minus 36, we're going to get 54, so we've got this angle right here. So I gave you guys a chance to write. Folks, what I always do is I create, if I need to, I blow this triangle up over here. So that way I can just write everything down nice and neat so I can see it all. So I know what triangle I'm dealing with. Okay? I need to find x and I need to find r. So let's do it. We're going to use 8. This is turned into exactly like the last example. I need to find x and r. So what is... Let's set something up with x and 8. X and 8 are both what? Legs. So I'm going to use sine, cosine, or tangent. Tangent, because I'm only working with legs. So I'll use the tangent. I want 8 in the bottom. So x over 8 is equal to the tangent of, what's opposite the side of 8? What letter? What angle?
54.
54, right? So here's 8. Opposite the 8 is the 54. I misspoke, Tyler. You're all right. That was my fault. I misguided. Multiply both sides by 8. I'm going to get x is equal to 8 times the tangent of 54, whatever that is. The 11? All right, 11 works for me. Huh? 54 tangent times 8 equals 11.01, if you're doing it right. Times. Okay. Now I need the radius. Same thing again. I'm going to use the 8. Let's use the 54 again. The 8 is opposite the 54, correct? So if I'm using opposite to find the hypotenuse, what's opposite in hypotenuse? Sine. So the sine of 54 is opposite over hypotenuse, which is r. Aiden, we're going to do that thing again. I'm just going to swap those two things. R is equal to 8 divided by the sine of 54. Yeah, that's ugly. 9.9 works for me. Okay. Be careful. Listen. Listen.
Can you take a quick pause
I will.
before you make us listen?
I will.
I mean, sign. What? Just wait.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
Oh, right
So.
here too.
Why'd you cover your ears?
How does this? Is that close?
I really
Yeah.
should check your calculator.
Okay, guys. There's still a little bit more to this problem. I'm just pausing as just organizing for Destiny's sake really quick. So, Destiny, are you okay with what we've done kind of so far? At least? Okay.
So I just have to remember like the simple toe exercise. So
Yeah.
once I have that down, then this
It should be pretty easy. Yeah. So guys, have I answered the question? This would be Sauter says, is it done? If I'm asking that, are we done?
No.
No. What do I need to find? We need to remember the question.
Find the perimeter of the hexagon and the radius of the circle.
Have we found the radius of the circle?
Yes.
Yes. Have we found the perimeter of the hexagon?
No.
No.
We are close though.
We are. We're super close.
Have x.
We have x. We double it. We double it to get this. So that 22 times 5. Okay. 100% of your class time tomorrow will be allowed to you to do this homework in class. Since I'm not pushing forward.